Well, Paul,
Yes.
it's wonderful to meet you, sir. Thank you for taking a minute out today.
Thank you, Joe. Thank you. Thanks for the invitation. I appreciate it.
You bet. So you're a busy man, and before we get into all the good work that you're doing, I want to begin with 5 years ago. We were trying to figure out this pandemic. It was just really heating up. How much of living through that time period, surviving the pandemic, has influenced the way that you do work and live life today?
That's a very good question, Joe. Thanks for asking it.
Yeah. Oh,
In fact,
I'm sorry, real quick. I want to make sure. Yeah, it's going. I apologize. Let me start over at the top. I
okay.
thought for a
All
minute
right.
it wasn't recording. So Paul, it's great to meet you. Thank
Okay.
you for taking a minute out. I appreciate it.
Thank you. Thank you, Joe.
So let's begin our conversation. You're a busy man. There's a lot going on. 5 years ago, this pandemic was raging. We were trying to figure it out. How much of living through and surviving through that time period has influenced the way that you live your life today?
Joe, I tell you, the pandemic for Joan and I was a game changer.
Yeah.
It was a game changer. And I'll tell you why it was a game changer. It was a game changer for a lot of reasons. But I said principally two. The pandemic almost put us out of business.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because we're in home care. That's why my wife and I have been doing it. We own a couple of home care agencies in town, in our state, and we've been doing that. We've been doing this, providing services to seniors. What we do is we do provide. We help them with activities of daily living, like making the meals for them, taking them out for walks, remind them to take their meds, fixing their beds, cleaning the room for them. That's what we do for our seniors, and we're proud to do it. Proud to do it, and we've been doing that since 2002. Okay, so this year marks our 23rd year in business, and we just love it. Joe, it almost put us out of business because it made seniors scared. They were scared to have anyone come to their home. We couldn't travel, remember? You couldn't travel, right? Back in those days. So traveling was non-existent, at that time. Everyone was scared. Folks were dying. We had no cure for this for a period of time. So essentially, we had no business. Our business kept trickling down. Okay, so it almost put us out of business. And then the PPP, which was, I believe, a lot of help from the government helped us. Okay, really, really did that first. Number two is that prior to the pandemic, John and I had gotten into personal development, and we had a different mindset. Our mindset has shifted, Joe, from one of victimhood where we didn't. It wasn't quite victim with us, but we it just strengthened our resolve, if you will. Our resilience grew. We knew that we could, in spite of the circumstances we found ourselves in, we could still move the needle in our favor. Which kind of just knew that. So it's kind of, and once you have that in you, you can challenges going to come, right? They will come, but you're always going to find a way around it. So that it tested our resolve in us. It tested that new mindset. It tested that new perspective, if you will. And I'm happy to say that we would not only survive, we triumph over it.
That's wonderful. So let's get into what you're doing right now.
Yes.
I want to begin. I want to put you in front of a bunch of grade school students, sixth graders. It's career day, and one of the kids is curious and is like, "Hey, what do you do for a living?" How do you answer that child?
That's another good question, Joe. That's another a very good question. What I ask the child is that what do you love? What do you love? What do you enjoy doing? What makes your heart sing? What makes you feel good? What's your passion? I'd invite him to spend some time just thinking about what makes him feel good. What makes them feel like they're making a difference? Because Joe, you can always earn money anywhere, right? Work on McDonald's, whatever you can do, Uber, whatever.
Yeah,
But at the end of the day, are you fulfilled? Are you happy doing what you're doing? Because I think most of us will feel a lot happier if we're making a difference.
yeah.
And that's what I'll direct towards that. I'll have them sit down, make a note, make a list of what they love doing, what they enjoy doing, what their passion is, what they love, and then go from there.
So, what did you want to be when you were a kid? When you were like 12 years old, what was your dream life?
My dream life when I was 12 years old, Joe, was to go to school, it was actually get through school, graduate, get a degree, make my parents proud of me.
Yeah,
That was a big thing for me. I wanted to make that happen. And later on in the years, I've started dreaming about becoming a stockbroker.
yeah.
It was a big thing for me. I don't know why. Maybe I like money. I just wanted that kind of life. That's what I felt. And then, as you know, I don't know if you know this or no, Joe, or you know this or not, Joe. I'm originally from Cameroon, West Africa.
Yeah.
So when I graduated high school, Dad said, "Well, I mean, a product dad." He says, "Well, come over to the United States and then go to college." And to me, it was a land of my dreams, a lot of opportunity. It was where I just felt like if I came here to the United States, anything would be possible for me. And I'm glad to say it's been that way.
So let me ask you this. What were the foundational seeds that were planted into you early on in your life that have made you achieve so much to help people find their dreams and passions? What was that kind of the shift from being in stocks to what you're doing? Because between home health and coaching and everything that you're doing, you're in the service of others. How did those seeds get planted?
Joe, they started from a young me, if you will.
Yeah.
Dad was a hard worker. Dad cared about people. Dad cared about service. Dad cared about making people feel good. He encouraged us, my siblings and myself, to study, work hard, do well in life, and make a difference. And I carried that through my adulthood. When I came here many years ago and I graduated college, if I graduated as a cum laude, so I had the brains, Joe, glad to say,
Yeah.
I did not want to go to graduate school. To me, it wasn't my calling at that point. As you know, the more aware you become, Joe, in life, the more your perspective changes, right? You make different decisions, hopefully better decisions, right? And so that's what happened to me. I decided, well, graduate school at this time wasn't for me. I wanted to pursue my entrepreneurial dreams. That's why I got into Amway. I started selling soap, as it were. I didn't sell much soap, Joe, but I was introduced into the world of personal development, and that changed my life.
Wow. Who's been that hero for you? Who's been that inspiration for you in all your work?
Joe, a lot of people, but dad is the first.
Yeah.
Dad is the first. My faith in God. I'm a person of faith. So I hang on to that faith quite a bit, a lot, every day. And then other folks that have made a difference in people's lives. We're going to talk about the leaders of this country and some other folks in the personal development world, our forefathers of the American country, and then everyday folk who reach out to make a difference. I think we'll get inspired by each other. We get inspired by everyone.
Yeah.
Inspiration to me doesn't necessarily come from the high and mighty, if you will. They come from daily occurrences. Someone reaching out, helping another person. That's inspirational. Because I believe we have to be in the business of helping to lift one another.
Yeah.
And that's what I love to do.
So let me ask you this in the realm of business or otherwise, if you can meet one person alive right now that you are impressed by, that you find incredible, that might help you on your journey to meet and talk to them, who would that be?
Joe, I would say a bunch of them.
Yeah,
But if so, one is kind of hard for me one is really hard for me to
sure.
call upon. But I will go with my dad. That's number one to me. He's my hero. He's in heaven, I believe, now watching on us. I would want to talk to Mr. Andrew Carnegie.
Yeah,
Mr. Andrew Carnegie. I want to talk to Mr. Napoleon Hill. I want to talk to Mr. Bob Proctor.
yeah,
Those are some folks that have inspired me over the years.
yeah,
I want to talk to Mr. Edison. Why did he go through 10,000 failures before he discovered the electric bulb? What kept him going?
yeah,
See, Joe, I like to see what makes people tick, as it were.
yeah,
What moves the needle for them? What kept them going? How did they overcome? Dr. King, folks who changed the world
yeah.
in their own way. Because I think in life, we should be all about making a difference. See, Joe, I'm going to go back and forth to that topic of making a difference because I think that's what moves the needle for all of us.
Yeah. So speaking of making things tick, what is it that gets you up every day? What is it that makes you excel in business and your life, taking care of your soul, all of these things? What is that ultimate motivation for you every day?
Joe, for me, it's making a difference. It's making sure that folks who don't know see, because I believe that we all have greatness in us. I believe that absolutely every fiber of my being, I believe that we all have greatness in us. But for most of us, we don't know that we have it. As I often say, it's almost like Say you get invited to the White House, right? You invited White House, you never got the invitation, but you were invited. It never got to you. You will miss out. You would certainly miss out on an invitation because you never got it.
Yeah.
We have potential in us, Joe, that we habitually don't know it's there, so we can exploit it to better our lives.
Yeah.
The difference, the change is in us. The greatness is in us. And as soon as I was turned on to that realization, if you will, I became aware of it. I said, wait a minute. If it can work for me, why not share with other people
Yeah.
who are also sort of struggling in the dark? Awareness is what this is all about, Joe. It's about making a difference, getting out there and sharing my story. If my story can inspire one person, in my world, I would have done my job.
So the thing about Edison is that, after all of that failure, he still risked. He still went
Yes.
after it. When
Yes.
you look at the arc of your life and career, what's the biggest risk that you took that may have been really difficult, but has turned out to be one of the best decisions of your life?
Joe, I think it was starting my business,
Yeah.
my home care business 23 years ago. Joe, to say we started a shoestring I think would be too big a credit for us. It wasn't a shoestring. We essentially started on a gamble. We took a credit card loan of under $13,000. So it's 12,000 and some change. In fact, back in those days, we used to get cash advance on your credit card.
Yeah.
I'm sure they do it now. We went up and took it. It was the only credit card my wife and I had at that time, Joe. Okay. We took a 12,000 and some change cash advance on that credit card. That's all we could get
Yeah.
and put it down on a dream. Well, some folks call it a gamble. Okay. It was on a dream, Joe,
Yeah.
right? That we're gonna go out there and serve people and hopefully make some money in the process and build a business out of it.
Yeah.
That's where we started. We had no rich uncles to go to, no rich aunties to go to, no rich brothers sisters to talk to or borrow from. No, we didn't. We went to our credit card, and that's where we started. And we built it from there to where we are today. We currently own 4 offices, employing north of 300 people, and then we've served thousands of clients over the years, and we're just grateful. And we've learned a lot along the way
Oh, yeah.
because at a certain point, it's not the money; it's the difference you make.
Yeah.
So that was the biggest gamble. Well, some people call it gamble. To me, it was a risk that we took, and that I think is working for us. I'm glad to say.
Absolutely. So let me ask you this. If you walked into a room of everybody that you've worked with or that you've dealt with in a business sense in your career, and you could walk up to a podium and tell them a fun story, a fun fact, something really fun that would humanize you to them, that they might see you in a little different light, what would you tell that room of people?
I would tell them that my wife is a leader. My wife is the person who makes what we do tick.
Yeah.
My wife is a difference maker. I listen to my wife. I honor my wife. She's smarter than me. She doesn't wear the pants, but she's smarter than me.
Yeah.
And I will listen to her. I think that oftentimes couples don't make it the way they should. They don't succeed in life sometimes because it's that fight, push or pull type situation. You have to learn to honor the strength in each and every one of us,
Yeah.
especially couples. We have to lean on each other, right? She's gonna have some bad days, and I'm gonna have some bad days. But the thing we've always prayed for, and we're happy to say, is that we never have bad days on the same day, Joe. My bad day is her good day, and her bad day is my good day, and that's the story I'm living with.
What's the best advice you've ever gotten?
Keep going, don't quit, raise your standards, be humble, help others, make a difference, keep learning, learn, be curious, go step beyond your comfort zone. You can make it happen. You have greatness in you because we all have it.
Absolutely. So let me ask you this. If you had a dream tonight, you ran into that version of you right before you came to America with all these dreams
Yes,
going through your head,
yes,
and you could give that young
yes.
version of you a piece of advice based on this life you've led, the wisdom you've accumulated, what advice would you give that young version of you?
I would tell the young version of me to take more chances, be eager, curious, find do something that's going to make that something that's about serving, because I believe that's where it's at, Joe.
Yeah.
I'm sure that's what you do, Joe.
Yeah.
It's about serving, being the service of others.
Yeah.
Find out what you're passionate about. Because once you find out what you're passionate about, Joe, you don't need to get paid for it.
Yeah.
You enjoy it.
Yeah.
And ultimately, you're going to get a lot of satisfaction from it. Because you can always morph it into whatever you want to morph it into.
Yeah.
Folks need what you've got. But what is it? Do you know what you have? Do you a gift? What find out as quickly as you can what your gifts are, because everyone has them.
Yeah.
And then put it out there. Get better at it. Don't be scared to learn. Don't be scared to invest in training. In fact, and I think all the other leaders have said it, Warren Buffett said it, the best investment is in yourself.
Yeah.
Oftentimes we think that we're spending money, but the best education is in self-education. Because once you have that, then you can help other people.
So, as a successful businessman who immigrated to this country to follow your dreams,
Yes,
2025 is a weird place right now. There's so
it
many
is.
things that are making people afraid. Stocks
It
are
is.
falling. The immigration is an issue. There's so many things that have changed. How do you remain hopeful? You're obviously a very hopeful, happy human being. How do you maintain that? How do you keep perspective in these modern times?
Joe, thank you. That's a fantastic question. It's a fantastic question. Joe, I think my hope and faith is grounded in my faith. My hope, optimism is grounded in my faith. This is, in spite of the challenges we have, Joe, this is the greatest country on the face of this earth. America is. I don't care. Again, it may not be the best right now, but this to me is the greatest country on the face of the earth.
Yeah.
Bar none. Bar none. This too shall pass.
Yeah.
This too shall pass. I think we have to just give it some time and keep doing what we need to do, coming together as people, and doing the best we can. This too shall pass.
Yeah.
And just pray for our country. Pray for our country. But this to me is still, regardless of what's going on right now, it's I mean it's the way I look at it, it's a phase in life, it's a phase in our history,
Yeah.
right? I mean, just like COVID was, Joe,
Yeah.
just like COVID was. I
Yeah.
mean, I'll give you that. I mean, I look at it the same way. Not as bad, but I'm, saying it's a challenge.
Yeah.
Every great nation, we're challenged because we're a great nation.
Yeah.
That's why we're challenged. Are we going to step up to the challenge or shy away and fall and, like kids? No. This is America.
Yeah.
This is still the greatest country on this earth. Let's look at it from that perspective.
I love it. What a great answer. So let me ask you this: of everything that you've done, you've had to travel many miles to this country.
Yes.
You've
Yes.
traversed many miles as a businessman. But at the end of the
Yes.
day, what are you ultimately the proudest of?
I'm proudest that I'm happily married to my wife, who's my high school sweetheart. We've been together for many years.
Yeah.
We've been able to raise three amazing young adults. Uh, my son works for us. My daughter, the first daughter, is a medical doctor. She's a dermatologist. And my last daughter is in therapy school. She's doing therapy. So she's a graduate, also she's in graduate school for that. So I'm very happy that we've raised them up as godly children who know the word, who work hard. They're not going to rely on what the parents have done because we don't teach them that way.
Yeah.
They have to go earn it. They have to earn it. They're not trust fund babies, as it were.
Yeah.
They know they have to work. They know they have to work. So that's that. I think that spirit of hard work, of faith, of telling the truth, doing the right thing, being of service is the most gratifying for Joan and I.
Yeah.
Because at the end of the day, it's not the whatever resources or gifts you may leave them. It's the what you've left them with in terms of the what you've trained them to be, and that's what I want for them. Because once they have that, they can do the rest. Dad left me one thing. Dad always left me one thing, which I thank him every day for this. He kept the burning desire in me to succeed.
Yeah.
That's what has propelled everything I've done with the help of my wife thus far.
Wonderful. So at the end of the day, everyone has a perception of you, Paul. Family, friends, clients, colleagues, everyone that you've
Yeah.
employed, but you ultimately run the show. What's your perception
Mhm.
of you? Who do you think you are?
Um, Paul is Paul, I would say, is a gentleman who has faith in God, who believes in God, wants does the right thing, has hope, cares, wants to serve, wants to uplift others. In fact, Paul gets his joy by uplifting other people. Because I believe that strongly that with more awareness comes better decisions and comes a better life.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, we want to be we want to have fulfillment in our lives, and that's what I'm about. That's what I'm about. If I could help someone, bring clarity or awareness, more awareness into their lives, that's what I'm about.
Yeah. So if anyone wants to reach out, they're curious, they want coaching, they want any of the good services that you provide, where's the best place for them to go?
Joe, you can just reach out to our company website, or they can just email. They can reach out to us at askjohnandpaul.com. Askjohnandpaul.com. It's all spelled out. Askjohnandpaul.com.
Okay.
That'll be the best way to reach us. And we'll
I
be glad
love
to
it.
help them out.
That's wonderful. I'm going to
Awesome.
put it in the show notes. Paul, what a joy. Thank you for your light. Thank you for your positivity and story. And best of luck with everything. Keep soaring.
Thank you so much, Joe. Thanks for the opportunity to be on your show. And this has been wonderful, Joe. Thanks again.
Absolutely. Thank you. I appreciate it. Hello, friends. Joe Dimino here. I just wanted to let you know that after 30 years or so, I have finally released my first book of poetry through the mighty Spartan Press here in Kansas City, Missouri. As the creator and host of both Neon Jazz Radio and the Famous Interviews with Joe Dimino podcast, along with being a visual artist, I'm ready to embark on a new adventure and want you to be a part of it. You can get a copy online via Barnes & Noble, Amazon, and actually on the streets in Kansas City at the great Prospero's bookstore off 39th Street. You can also visit joedimino.com for links to the book, to more poetry, and everything in my world, including paintings. Thanks for all of the love and support over the years, and please dig the words.